Hello and welcome back to Dial H for Heroclix. I'm your sexy ranch hand co-host KarlRonnie. This is episode 289. Howdy, howdy, let's get rowdy. Dial H for Heroclix is brought to you by CoolStuffInc.com, where you can find cool stuff in stock every day, including all the latest Heroclix singles and sealed products. Check them out at CoolStuffInc.com. Joining me in the studio today, like always, is my good friend co-host, Simeon Bruce. What's up, Simeon?
You know what? People need to start driving safer, Calder. That's what I gotta say.
The roads are icy. Just a touch, right? Yeah. People need to drive like it's your grandma sitting in the back seat with a hot pot of chili. You don't want to spill any, right? Is that the southern meme or whatever it is?
How
people should drive.
Like she's in her best Sunday dress, holding a pot of chili.
That's right.
And bouncing a gravy boat on her head.
I'm sure that's all completely accurate. Like we like to start every week off, we like to do what made us happy this week. Simeon, what made you happy this week, my man?
This week, what made me happy was pretty simple. I got some new comics that I'm subscribed to, so that was some cool new stuff to read, and I got some new clix, new to me clix, some stuff that I put off for a long time because just never seemed like worth the price tag, and I got them for cheap enough that now I can finally put them on a shelf and forget about them forever.
Oh, I feel that. That's pretty good though. That's like my zombie team base now. Just sits there, being expensive and looking at me every once in a while. Anyways, what made me happy this week? I started a new Netflix show about 4 or so episodes in. It's called Daybreak. It's pretty funny. It's kind of an interesting riff on a zombie-like apocalypse. Everybody that survives is under 18. All the parents or older people turn into ghoulies or whatever, and then all the kids have separated the wasteland of Glendale, California into cliques. So like there's jocks. It's basically big high school, but in the apocalypse. Like there's jocks and the popular kids and nerds, whatever. And it's pretty funny. I like that the 4-H Club is their own little society in it. I find that hilarious. And it's actually just very interesting. There's some swearing, so if you watch it, make sure it's not for little ears. But it is very funny. I like the quick wit in a lot of the characters. Angelica is probably my favorite one so far, and I really enjoy the show. It's really fun. If you like zombie apocalypse stuff like that, and you want a different kind of take, check it out. It's awesome. And also with that, I saw Arsenic and Old Lace, which was a play in Pierre, South Dakota State Capitol, that my mother and my youngest brother were in. And I was really glad to see them be in a play after I just got out of play, and they did a fantastic job. And I was very happy about them. And it was hilarious. So that really made my week. It was quite awesome. Anyways, like we are doing recently, we are going to be doing a new Clicks on the Block segment, and I will have in the show notes where the rest of the show begins. So we're going to start our new Clicks on the Block segment. Once that is over, it'll be in the show notes in the bottom there. You can go ahead and click on that, and that will start you at the normal episode for news and everything. And so let's just get right into it, shall we?
So, you screwed up. You know what you did was wrong. The question is, how are you going to make things right? Maybe you were trying to be cool. You take it from a guy who's been frozen for 65 years. The only way to really be cool is to follow the rules.
All right, Simeon, what are we doing this week? What are we talking about?
This week we're talking about how to take this fun hobby that you like to play and how to make big bucks doing it. You're going to be rolling in the dough with all these winnings and all these prizes and all this stuff. No, that's not real. At least as of this recording, you cannot technically, I know people will debate me on this, but you cannot be a professional Heroclix player. It can't happen.
I can't make a living off playing with little plastic superheroes and rolling dice? What?
Nope, you can make money off of it, that's for sure. You cannot live off of it. You cannot support your family off of it. You will be homeless, living in a shoebox with all of your cliques guarding you all night. But let's get into what we're actually here for. So this iteration of New Clicks on the Block, we want to talk about buy, sell, and trade. So you've got your starter stuff, you've got your action tokens, and your razor blades, and your dice, and whatever else you need to play. And now you need to know how to play. So we covered that, and now you need to know how to get more of the figures that you want. How to get the really expensive ones, how to get the ones that are more powerful or really cool sculpts, all that kind of stuff. So with that, let's dive right in. Let's go with buying first.
Let's buy some.
Kalder,
I have to buy product before I can sell product, I imagine.
Oh yeah. I mean, you can find stuff, but
that's true. Anyways, buying is pretty simple. So you obviously have been to your store, you buy all those random boosters, you get bricks, you get your bricks from them and all that jazz, and you're like, hey, I don't need this super rare, this chase, and that is where the glory of having a surplus of things comes in. So brick and mortar stores are always great. I always like to understand the prices of things before I buy them. Before I just go and look at my store's little glass case there and be like, oh yeah, I'll just buy the super rare for $80. Like, no, let's slow down there, Chief. Let's figure out the medium and what a good price is for this. So that is where we go to our good friend eBay, or Evil Bay, however you refer to him. I don't buy anything there. I just use it as a price checking guide. So if you are looking at getting a new chase or a new super rare or even an older one, it's important to look at the sold listing options in eBay. So it's pretty easy. You go ahead and type in Heroclix, blah, 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 Captain America, Earth X, 0 number, whatever. Be as specific as you want if you want to really refine the search, and then you just go to sold listings, and I like to do about the 5 or 6, depending on how close they are in selling. If they all sell within the same month or so, it's a fairly good range that this is the current price for that piece. And then I just like to find the medium between all of them. Like one's 25, one's like 32, maybe it's somewhere around the $27, $29 something range. That's basically what I do. I check eBay every time before I buy or sell anything on the internet, and I find that as a really great time. And you can also find eBay listings that are cheaper, and if they're buy it now options, then absolutely jump on those. That is always a great choice before you go ahead and do any miniature market selling at all. So eBay, check it out. That's what I always check before I buy anything. Research, very important to save yourself some money.
Yeah, absolutely. To go along with that, I'd always say I love supporting my local shops, but I will only buy the newest product from my local shops. I'm not going to buy their entire backlog at face value. A lot of like local shops, it'll be like this set has been out for over a year. They're still asking MSRP for it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, hey, nothing that I could possibly pull will be of this value. So like at a certain point it becomes gambling.
Yes.
And so I love buying sealed product from them. I love buying cases and bricks when a set drops. If you like supporting your local shop, I suggest you do that. You enter their sealed tournaments. You buy like stuff when it's newer. So Heroclix as a whole is a diminishing return product. You, for the most part, whatever you put into something monetarily, you will not get out of it within the next 2 or 3 years. Some things hold value better than others, but it's really a loss that you're taking every time, and you just have to have the fun out of it. You have to get like pieces that you enjoy. You have to have the experiences that you want, and that's where your actual return comes in. You're not going to be able to sell a chase that you bought 2 years ago for the same price that you bought it at or more. That's just not happening. Right. So I suggest, if you're starting and you go into your shop and you're like, man, I'm just ready to buy some boosters, maybe don't like grab all the boosters from like Civil War that they still have on the shelf. Definitely don't buy all the Joker's Wild boosters they still have on the shelf. You can pick up these pieces. So this is where we go into the other half of buying, the singles market. So you can pick up all these pieces on a singles market, and there's several different places where you can do this from. But singles are almost always going to be cheaper in the long run than buying sealed product. Buying sealed product allows you to get trade fodder and stuff that you could sell, and lots of duplicates. So if you want a lot of duplicates, like I bought a ton of Star Trek to get tribbles. I bought a ton of TMNT to get Foot Clan ninjas. So if you want a lot of stuff like that, it's great to buy sealed. Otherwise, I think singles is usually the way to go. So, Kalder, what are your favorite places to buy from when we're talking singles?
When we talk singles, I always use Cool Stuff Inc. That is my go-to singles buy list. When you buy singles, it also has a reward tracker, which is like really super cool. Every time you make a singles order, you'll normally get a little bit of a discount on the next one you make, and obviously code DIAL5 for 5% off your Cool Stuff Inc. order. But I always go to Cool Stuff Inc. for singles. I had a really just amazing, even before I even did the show, way before I did the show, I had just an amazing interaction. I bought like what was it? It was a resource, and I bought the little Lust relic, and it wasn't in there. And it's a little tiny white, almost like see-through itty-bitty relic. And I was looking in my box when I opened everything up, and it was like March, so there was snow outside, and I opened it in my car, and I'm like, I might have just dropped this somewhere, and I can't find it, but it's nowhere in the box. And I also don't have the card. So I emailed them, and there was a tournament. I got this like on Monday. There was a tournament that Saturday I really wanted to go to. So I just, wrote them an email like, hey, I don't think this came in my order. And they were like, yep, looks like it didn't. And they shipped it to me like so fast. And I got it there like Thursday. I was just super impressed. And just that initiative and everything impressed me so much with Cool Stuff Inc. I've always just bought my miniatures from them to this day. For singles, and also for singles, if it's more of a trading aspect of it, or I also do a bit of buying here too. But on Facebook groups like International Exchange, Heroclix players, collectors around the world, buy, sell, trade, etc. Pretty simple to find these groups on Facebook, but I do a lot of my singles buying on there. I kind of keep my PayPal cash as like Heroclix money for the most part when I sell something, and then I'm like, I can buy this with my Heroclix money. There we go. I will absolutely buy Sexy Lexi $50 shipped. Stuff like that. Facebook and Cool Stuff Inc. are my main singles like areas to buy.
Right. So I use Cool Stuff Inc. a lot as well. I've always had decent like stuff shipped to me and like quality packaging and stuff. And they're usually pretty decent on the price. If you want a better deal, you can always go on like the Facebook groups and kind of haggle with people, maybe throw some trade stuff their way, and that's where we get into the other half of Heroclix. When you're just beginning, you probably won't have a ton of trade fodder, but you need to know what you're working with when you do. And so when it comes to trades, Kalder already said checking eBay is a great way. You see like they've got a Chase Odin, and you've got to chase Nebula. You're like, well, it's a chase for a chase. Not in Heroclix. Sorry. That's not how it works, even if they're out of the same set. Let's say you pull, I pulled Chase Namor out of the same set that someone pulled Chase Sheriff Sheriff Strange, I guess was the chase in that set. Not a one-for-one. They're chases, same set. You got to add in a whole lot of the market value comes from playability and competitive aspects, and that might not be something that you get right away. It also comes down to, is it a character that people really love? That's another huge thing. If it's like the only Thanos that we've gotten that year, price is going to be a little bit higher. Is it the only... we got a lot of Thanoses this year.
Yeah.
Is it the only like Doctor Strange that we got? Is the distribution off? Was there just like not a lot of these Supermen floating around, and so not a lot of people pulled them? Different stuff like that can skew the prices, and so checking eBay, you see his Odin is worth $60, and your Aquaman, Namor, whatever you want to call it, whatever you're trading him is only worth $40. So maybe you offer that in trade, but then you have to throw in like a super rare or something to even the odds, or maybe just toss some cash his way as well. That's a big aspect of Heroclix. The market is constantly fluctuating. When X-Men first dropped, Proteus, the green Proteus, the rare, he was probably going for like $30-$40. But a lot of people were murmuring about how he was going to get watch listed, how he was going to get eroded, and he did. And now I don't even know. I haven't even checked, but I just know that you definitely don't want to be sitting on 8 of those now, like some people were at one point. So it went from a figure that was real busted, people really wanted, to a figure that if you had more than one, you were doing something wrong, kind of thing. And so that's something you need to watch out for. When it comes to trading, there's all the Facebook trade groups. You need to post a picture. You need to list your wants or haves and what you're willing to pay, if you're paying with PayPal or what have you. All the Facebook groups that I'm aware of, that I'm in, are simultaneous send. There is Heroclix trade feedback page as well, which you should also be on if you're on the Facebook trade groups. So when you have a good trade experience, you leave someone good trade feedback. They leave you good trade feedback. It helps people not question you, because there are a few scammers out there. And it can also help you feel a little bit less intimidated when you're trading like a big dollar piece with somebody online, and they've got like 0 trade feedback.
Right.
Maybe you just pass on that. Like, not advocating that you judge people on their trade feedback, but
it
is definitely an indicator.
Absolutely. Keep that into consideration. I have gotten scammed a few times. I made some not very smart decisions, So absolutely. It's like, hey man, is it okay if you send first? Some people are okay with that. Some people are totally okay with that. If you yourself have a lot of feedback, then I think it's okay to ask someone with like 0. If they have at least 5 or like something like that, like, hey, you're new, whatever. I don't think you're going to just try to ruin me here, so I trust you enough. But if they have 0, I think it's fairly safe to be like, hey man, look, I got like 20 something or whatever. You don't have any. Is it okay if you censor first? And normally someone with a bunch of feedback won't try to take advantage of you when that happens. Pretty obvious like signs of a scam is people really trying to get the deal made really quickly. They want to scam you as fast as possible. They're constantly sending you pictures like, oh, this, or like whatever.
They're giving you a way better deal than normal. Would make sense.
They have no feedback. You check their Facebook profile if it is on Facebook. See how recently it was made. That's also a pretty big indication. Always, even if they don't have any feedback, check that name and see if there's like any familiar names that might have said like this person scammed, whatever. I lost a Shumagorath on a deal one time. It was well after he was worth anything, but still, it kind of sucks. So don't be in a big time rush to get things done. Sometimes slow your roll. Be like, hey man, look, could you send first? Is that okay? It's a problem. All right, then I guess we're done here. Sorry, have a good day. Yeah, you definitely don't want to lose money and just send Heroclix to a random person and be like, I got nothing out of that. Very cool. I hate it.
Yeah, and to go along with this, trading is I'd say that's the majority of what I do with Heroclix. I will occasionally try and sell, but trading is that's my bread and butter. That's what I like to do. I don't really like the money aspect. I like being able to, like in Fallout, when you're like, I'm going to give you like some bullets and like some gecko steak, and here's like a couple bottle caps, and you're going to give me that rusty old laser pistol. That's what I like to do. I like to give like a bunch of garbage for like one thing that I really want. And that's pretty much, that is like, you might think like, you've only got like this $5 piece, $4 piece, $6 piece, and they've got a like $30 piece. But you throw enough stuff at them, sometimes somebody's like, hey, I'm missing at least like most of those pieces. That's a deal I'm worth making. So
and that really is a sometimes as well. A lot of people won't take a bunch of low stuff for one big high item. They'll normally want another big high item or to just sell it. I personally am a seller kind of guy. I don't know why, really, because I use all of the money I sell just to buy more Heroclix, which is just basically trading with extra steps, So
that's how I used to do it, yeah.
Right. So, that's what I kind of do a lot, too. And I think that is good and fine.
Yeah, I do like the little buffer that like selling and then buying kind of gives you. And so when I say that about like, throwing a couple like low dollar pieces at like a higher dollar piece, for the most part, just to like, for the newer players, for the most part, commons and uncommons will not be worth anything unless you have a full set of common, uncommon, rare. You're not looking at a whole lot of money from those pieces. There's some rares that'll go for more, but like you better sell them as soon as that set drops because they are going down in price right away.
Yeah.
So an additional place that you can trade other than Facebook is, of course, your local game shop, especially around the time when the set's new. Again, when a set is new, prices are in like the highest amount of flux possible. So I know when Avengers Black Panther Illuminati dropped, the Black Panther chase was like highly sought after for a good hot minute there, and then his price tanked right away when people realized there's some design flaws that he had, and he just wasn't the figure that like a lot of people were hoping he was going to be. But if you're trading with a local person, definitely just check the price on the pieces anyhow. If it's a pre-release and there aren't any prices, I personally, if you're a new player, I would suggest you just hold on to it for a bit. If you really want the piece that they have and you feel like it's fair, go for it. But I definitely hold on to it until you at least have some eBay listings that will give you like a little general idea of like, is Kang, title character Kang, worth the same as Black Panther? And eBay says no. Yeah. But you really wanted that title character Kang, and I mean,
and there's
don't worry,
more
you'll eventually get one.
Yeah, there's definitely more lenience with trading in person. Like if they're good friends of yours, I normally give my guy like a buddy price. I think I pulled a Captain Marvel at an event, and I was like, I could go through the whatever of selling and shipping, but someone was like, I'll just give you $100 for it right there, and I'm like, yeah, absolutely, sounds good. So like, giving someone a buddy price
sounds like a Kevin Nelson move.
Wow, that was a really good guess of you, Simeon. Who'd have thought?
Thank you.
That is
Thank you.
No, but yeah,
I just know him too well.
Truly.
Yeah.
Oh, goodness. But yeah, a lot of people will, like, trading a little bit within our local group, we'll just give each other the piece and, like, I'll worry about, pay me back later. I know how much you want this. So, there's a few figures I still need to get some trade stuff and pay back for. So, depending on how good friends you are with the people at your venue, people at your venue are also probably the best way to trade commons and uncommons and rares if you, like, need to, whether kids at your venues or even older people who are missing some generics or whatever. That's probably the best spot to do commons and uncommons, especially during pre-release. If you're going to buy a ton of the set and just want to get rid of all your commons and uncommons that you really don't need for right now, by all means, that's like the easiest time to trade and get rid of commons and uncommons is during pre-release. So that was definitely make the best of that opportunity. Along with pre-release is the most expensive time for ever anything. So if you really want to throw up the chase you just pulled, absolutely go ahead and do that on the internet. That's just smart business right there.
Yeah, that's the prime time for like your highest trade value is pre-release. Around pre-release time, I know I'm buying a lot of like a certain product. I will trade pretty much my entire booster most of the time, unless it's got like something cool in it. I'll trade my entire booster for like that one generic figure that they have, just because I like having, like 17 guard commands or 17 suited henchmen's or, like 20 big Tonys. Or he's not generic, but I still like 20.
Basically, though.
Yeah, so just like if you really want like the swarm kind of army thing going on, it's actually fairly hard to get the generics later on. So if you can trade, like, you already have this rare, so you just throw them the whole booster and they give you the one, that's a fair trade to me because, give it 3 weeks time and that whole booster's worth that one piece anyhow.
Basically.
So when it comes to trading, so Facebook, in person at your local shop, great ways to do it. On your local Facebook community, if you can do Facebook like without having the shipping part, that's even better. Another
Right.
place is HC Realms, the iTrader. You can post like what you have for trade. You can look through the current trades. You can have your haves and want list up to date, and you can search through stuff on whether someone is looking to trade a piece or whether they're wanting to keep a piece or whatever. You can search through that. You can send private messages. HC Realms is they do have a ranking system, and the higher rank gets the benefit of having their stuff sent to them first. So if I've got a score of 100 and you've got a score of 2, you are going to send to me first. I'm going to receive the package, make sure that everything's good and ready to go, kosher, and then I'm going to send you your half. So HC Realms is the slowest version. It's also got a little buffer of anonymity, and there's a better reporting system to it. They have banned certain people or suspended people's accounts if they scam too often, so HC Realms is a little bit more protected from that. The iTrader ranking, if someone has negative iTrader ranking within the last year, probably safe to just avoid them, just to be safe, because it takes quite a bit to get negative iTrader ranking. If you do get your product, it could take them 9 months to send it to you. But if you do get your product and the deal did go through, they have to get at least neutral at best. So it takes a lot to get a negative iTrader ranking on HC Realms. To go with that, when you're sending stuff, if you are trading through HC Realms, Facebook, anything, even when you're selling, let's talk about packaging and how to do it effectively.
This is huge. We're not just magic cards here, guys. We have really amazing, beautifully sculpted figures, and we want that sculpt intact because that's the way we traded or bought that figure. So when you ship something, if it is a sculpt, like a normal Heroclix figure is, absolutely send it in a cardboard box. Around the figure, I like to use one of those gravity feed little plastic cases. Put that around the figure, put it in the cardboard box, and then if you don't want to go out and buy a bunch of packing product, you can use plastic bags as kind of cushion, but if you buy stuff and just have, like if you buy an Amazon thing or stuff from Cool Stuff, whatever, they'll normally seem like about 1 million packing peanuts. That is always good. You don't have to go out and buy bubble wrap. Most of the time when I sell something, I'm just repurposing old packing stuff from stuff I've already ordered or bought. So cardboard box, bubble wrap, packing peanuts, whatever, and then, of course, the little plastic case to go over your figure is probably the best way to do it. Some people will wrap the figure in bubble wrap and then put it in the plastic case, which is also just another good layer of protection, depending on how weird the sculpt is and how breakable it may be. If it is a Super Booster style figure, make sure you have their Super Booster case, the little plastic shell they have. That is absolutely huge. If you do not have one of those, maybe you bought it without it, then just be really heavy on the bubble wrap. It's also very big. Normally, if you buy a bunch of figures, you'll have boxes. If you need to, absolutely go out and buy these little card boxes, either at your venue. They should have tiny little kind of cardboard card boxes, or at Walmart, or a post office is probably the most expensive way to get these boxes. They're not the best there, depending on what your post office has, but Walmart normally has really nice, or like Office Depot or something has really good at these little foldable little white card boxes that are perfect for sending. The card, if you have card sleeves, absolutely use them. I know some people always send me card sleeves when I trade with them, and I always appreciate that, but I don't think it's the biggest thing in the world to not have a card sleeve, so don't feel too bad. So yeah, for sending a figure, that's what you absolutely should do. If it's an ID card, this is in my opinion, an ID card or like a mandarin ring or an object that's relatively flat and has no sculpt that could break off, you should be okay in a bubble wrapper. Like, it's an ID card. I don't think it's going to get snapped in half anytime soon.
No.
So
yeah.
Stuff like that, you should be fine skipping the box, but it's just packaging is really huge. I bought a tape gun, one of those cool things that's got like a handle, and you pull the tape along, and it'll you tilt it forward, it'll like rip the tape. I bought one of those. You can also get little handheld $3 ones, so you don't like duct tape your boxes up. It's clear tape. I find that very helpful. Most post offices have just a ton of shipping labels you can take for free. I took a handful at the start of the year, and I'm barely halfway through them. I find those shipping labels very fun instead of just drawing right on the box. It makes it look very professional. So stuff like that, that makes it the most effective way to ship things. And you want, if you want to receive a product in good condition, you want to send it in good condition. And it's also very important because when you leave feedback, you need to take a picture of the product to make sure it's intact, and also the packaging, which is also huge when leaving feedback.
Yeah. And to go along with that, like the higher value the pieces, the better you're going to want to pack it. So I'll admit I've sent some real cheap stuff the real cheap way. Like I still put them in a box. And when Kalder says a box, he does not mean a booster. He doesn't mean the sleeve that you pulled them out of. When he says cardboard box, it's the double-walled, what you would get from like Amazon. Like you've all gotten packages in the mail before. You know what kind of box packages come in the mail. A booster box is not a package that can survive the U.S. Postal Service. And man, are there some horror stories about people that have tried. But normally, the higher the value of what you're sending is, the more you're going to want to like protect it. Just to cover your end. You don't want the deal going sour. The person you're sending it to doesn't want it to go sour. You don't want that stress in your life, believe me. So yeah, just take your time when you're doing that. If you're making a lot of trades, make sure that, double check. And when I say double check, I mean double check when you're sending it to the right person. I've sent out multiple things to the wrong person before, and it's more of a pain than you want to deal with. But yeah, just pack it nice. I was a professional shipping person for a long time, and packed a lot of boxes in my day, and there's definitely ways to pack that are better than others. And I mean, you just want to be one of the good ones. You want someone to say like, hey, this guy did a great job. He did me a solid. He got this crazy sculpt with lightning coming out of its eyeballs, to me without it breaking somehow. And, there's a lot of fragile stuff in Heroclix.
Oh, yeah.
There's a lot of pieces that come to you broken, even.
Yeah.
And that tells you a lot. If WizKids, their box within a box within a box somehow gets broken, I mean... These things aren't like, they're not metal cast. They are plastic that is held together with more plastic. So
that is right. A good indicator if you think you need more packaging in your box, fold it up, don't tape it, give it a good shake. If it's really moving around a lot, throw a few more plastic bags or packing peanuts in there and kind of push down and make sure it's really just condensed. That's always a really safe bet. So yeah, I think that about covers it for packing.
Yeah, so from that, I guess we covered that, and that goes into selling as well. So if you're selling something, you're going to want to pack it up just as nice as if you were trading. You're not going to want to have to hassle with somebody wanting a refund or a partial refund because something came to them busted. Putting cards in sleeves. If you don't have sleeves, you will get sleeves through trading. You will definitely get sleeves through trading. But if you don't, you can always fold a piece of cardboard in half, put the cards in there and tape it, and don't put tape on the cards, of course. Okay. But, I mean, with their no longer doing print and play, the cards are almost just as important as the figures sometimes. So I'm not saying you have to take care of them like they're literal dollar bills, but I mean, if it is a figure that's worth $50 and your card gets soaked from the rain or it gets all bent up from shipping or whatever, you might have an angry customer, and that's not the way you want to put your best foot forward. So, to tag along with packing, we'll go into selling. Best way to sell, I always say the first couple weeks that a set is out, that's the best time to sell. If you are new, that's basically it. If you're new and a set is new, that's the best time to sell, is the first couple weeks that it's out. There are certain figures that will shoot up in price the longer the set is old, like this, the longer it goes on. People will figure out what was actually good in the set rather than what they thought was going to be good in the set. But you're really going to, like, your bread and butter is that first couple weeks. It doesn't really matter what you're selling. If you throw it up with a price or if you throw it up as a trade, people will bite. They want that stuff. They want it early. They want it now.
No, that's
100%
correct. Same thing with selling, just like we said with buying and trading, is checking eBay. When you go ahead and list your things, I normally like to check eBay, find the good mix of all of those, and then that is the price I will sell something at. All of the trade groups on Facebook have a, no friends and family. So when you're selling through PayPal, they have no friends and family, which means you are going to be stuck with the fee, which really sucks. I think it's super lame, but that is the way it be sometimes to make it the safest opportunity for everyone. So the easiest way to do that is to add a buck or two to your figure's normal price for the friends and for not paying friends and family. So for that fee, you're going to be stuck paying the fee, so just make the figure just $1 or $2 more expensive so it doesn't really, bum you out. And depending on how expensive it is, obviously that will go up. And you'll always want to list the figure as whatever shipped. So when you say it's a shipped price, that means that includes shipping. Some people have a add $3 or add $4 for shipping. $3 is the most common, even though it normally costs about $3.50 to $4 to send a Heroclix. I always just see $3 as the most common shipping price on Facebook. That's what I ship for as well, and I think it almost always costs me more than $3 to ship anything. If it is like a neoprene map, shipping should probably be at least $10. $10 to $12 depending on how, because those things are just really heavy. So sending maps like that, you're going to want them to be a little bit more expensive, which just adds to the whole thing. And then colossals should normally be upwards of $6 to $7 for shipping, just because they weigh more, and that's just kind of how things work in the post office. So
that's continental U.S. shipping.
Continental U.S. shipping, yeah. If it is international and you're trading or selling international, always say, we'll calculate the international shipping. There's a very easy way to do that on the UPS site, stuff like that. And then you can go ahead and calculate it, this is what it's going to cost me to physically send this to you. So that plus the normal price, please. And then that normally is A-OK.
Yeah, I've made a sale or two, learned my lesson real quick, but I've made a sale or two to someone internationally. They said, this is the price shipped? And I said, yep. And they said, okay, cool, here's my address. And shipping ended up being like $12 because it was overseas. And it's a bit too late. I mean, if I was a mean, nasty person, I could have said, hey, you didn't tell me you were in one of these weirdo other countries. No,
wait, this isn't America. This is not what I trained for. What in the world? So, you're absolutely going to want be up if you're buying this. This also goes for buying. If you're from a different country than they are, be upfront about it. Maybe you can't tell or know. It's easy to say hey, I'm in Canada or New Zealand or whatever. Is that okay? And he's like, just shipping will cost a little bit more. They'll still gladly sell you the piece. They just need to know that shipping is going to cost more. Is it okay if you pay me more for shipping so I can physically get it to you? That would be awesome. Totally be upfront about that.
Yeah, I'll happily trade or sell with people from Australia, but it's got to be stuff that's going to be worth that $30 shipping. If it's a single piece and it's one super rare, I'm hey man, you got to give me a big old list because we got to make this worth it. It's already going to cost $30. Weight isn't really going to be an issue at this point. We need to bump up them numbers.
Got to send more than just this little thing for it to be worth my time and filling out the big form and paying all the
Yeah, for sure. So personally, I prefer to sell on eBay. I like that buffer, the anonymity. I like not knowing who I am selling to, because sometimes it honestly makes me feel bad if I'm selling to somebody that I've played before, or somebody that's somewhat local or something, and it's a piece. I mean, yes, they'll get it and it'll have my name on it when it ships to them, but I can't be the bad guy and sell for the full price if it's somebody that I know. And to get my best dollar out of the figures, I always go to eBay. and eBay does take their charge. PayPal will then take their charge, and then you will also have to pay shipping. So if you list it as free shipping, then you're going to have to eat 3 different charges. And to go along with shipping, I used to use stamps.com. This is not a plug for stamps.com. It's a subscription-based service, and you can print out U.S. postage. It'll give you the cheapest price that you can get on U.S. postage. You can type in the weight and the size of the box, and it'll show you the options. Even the cheapest option comes with tracking, and you'll always want to give the purchaser tracking, or the person that you're trading to tracking, so that you and them both are going to want to know if this package is making it correctly. But I used to use stamps.com. It's like a $12 membership each month, which is a little hefty unless you're trading a lot or selling a lot. But it really does save you a lot of time and money if you are somebody that's putting out a high volume of trades or sales, because you print off your postage. You don't have to go anywhere. You just stick it on your box with the stuff inside it. You set it on your porch or in your mailbox. Your postman picks it up in the morning, and that's it. You're done. PayPal works the same way. If someone buys something from you and they do it over PayPal on a Facebook trade group, you can buy your postage on PayPal. It will save you more money than if you just drive to the post office. Don't ask me how it works. I don't know why the middleman is cheaper than the direct source, but it is. The same thing that you pay at the post office will be $1 cheaper on PayPal or on stamps.com or on eBay. Either one of those, all 3 of those, is cheaper than actually going to the post office. But that said, I have done a lot of trades and a lot of sales and gone directly to the post office.
Yeah.
It's a fairly simple transaction. They weigh it, they make sure you have the right address, and you sign off on it, and you're good to go. They give you a receipt with the tracking number. You either send a picture of the tracking number or copy it and send that to the person that you're sending to, and then you're done. Right. Pretty easy. After all of that, you just leave your trade feedback, leave your buyer feedback, seller feedback, whatever you got to do. And I don't know. That's my favorite way. I like to sell on eBay. I like to trade on Facebook. I will trade on HC Realms. It takes a lot longer to go through on HC Realms because it's not the direct message route that Facebook has. If someone doesn't log on for 2 days, they don't have a notification until they log on. So that's kind of a bummer. But HC Realms is the safer way. It's also, if I have a long-standing trade, a big list of stuff, I usually throw it up on HC Realms before I post it on Facebook. That way, I've got it on both, and HC Realms will eventually get around to it. I guess to throw out another one, there is the Reddit Heroclix marketplace. It's fairly inactive, but you will find the occasional person posting on there. That's definitely another option. I would still... I don't know. I'd be hesitant because Reddit's another anonymous place, but there is no trade feedback on there, so you might ask for some sort of endorsement when you trade on there if you do go that route.
Right on. Just to kind of finish it up here, like we were saying, getting rid of commons and uncommons. A great way to do that, or get rid of rares and other things that you're having a really hard time selling, is I like to sell stuff to CoolStuffInc.com. They have a huge buy list, and it's a fairly easy service to use. And if you do store credit, they give you an extra 25%. It'll obviously be a little under, to be kind of a lot under sometimes, of what their going rate is, because they're basically just like when you sell things to GameStop. They want to sell it at that for themselves, so they will pay you a little less. But if you do the 25% trade-in sort of way, where you're just going to, the way I still think of it, as Heroclix money for Heroclix money, just 25% extra for Cool Stuff Inc. cash specifically. I do that. I did that too when I bought a entire collection one time. I basically sold that. Plus, they'll buy bulk, which is commons and uncommons, or bulk super rares and chases for 25 cents. Commons and uncommons are 5 cents. That with the 25% boost is very helpful in getting rid of stuff that you couldn't just move for a very long time. Besides that, they'll normally have a fairly decent buy list where you can just sell a ton of stuff, and you're like, look, it's easier to sell a bunch of this for a little bit less than having to piece it all individually and sell it to people later. So that is always an option, so check that out. Buy lists and stuff like that are pretty huge if I just don't feel like dealing with people. And cool stuff is great, because if they pay you and not you don't choose to do the store credit thing, they will send you PayPal and it'll be friends and family, which is really awesome. I really appreciate that. So that's always really cool.
Yeah. I do prefer the store credit, because that does count towards your ever expanding discount. So if you get the store credit and then you buy more singles with that store credit, it will count towards that discount. They have different tiers depending on what you've spent. I think it caps out at like 15% off, but that's pretty big. Like 15% off of like all their singles, like just like, bar none kind of thing, is pretty cool. So yeah, that's definitely an option. That's usually like my last ditch kind of effort, or for like the cheaper stuff. If I am selling a lot of stuff, I'll usually pick out the more expensive pieces first, see if I can sell those online, and then send the rest to cool stuff, or just give them away. I've given away a lot of commons and uncommons and rares in the last couple of years.
Right on. Well, that's really about all I have.
Yep, I think that wraps it up for this week. I think if you're ready to get into the game, this probably isn't your biggest obstacle, but it's definitely something that's going to come up soon.
Right.
Buying, selling, trading. And then one thing that we really, I don't know if I marked on it enough, but I did say Heroclix is it's a diminishing return. So keep that in mind when you're getting stuff. If you want to turn it for, like, if you pulled a good chase and you want to sell it, you got to sell it right away. It's not going to be worth the same as it will be within like 2 years. Occasionally a chase will go up in price within the first couple months, but usually it only goes down. And then other than that, I think that goes a lot with buying. If you're looking at some piece that's like a new chase and you're like, man, I really want that. Like when Ultra Chase Thanos first popped out, there were some that were selling for $500, $400 all over the place. Now he's going for about 200. So that's still a ton of money, especially to a new player. That probably sounds crazy, but that's a $300 difference from, only a couple of months. So
yeah,
definitely wait out the heavier pieces that you really want. You might end up waiting until they've already rotated and they're no longer modern. That's fine if it's just a figure that you really want, but you don't want to spend the money. I'd always suggest doing that.
Patience is the key to victories. Like, kind of to quote our good friend Cap from Homecoming again, but patience really is the key to victory when it comes to saving yourself the most amount of money when buying Heroclix. But I think we're ready to jump into the rest of the episode. So, whoa, Time Warp. Hello, you went ahead and skipped New Clicks on the Block. Or maybe you didn't. Maybe you just listened to all those amazing ramblings about trades and such. Well, we'll go ahead and get started with the rest of the episode, starting with the news. This was a pretty big week for news, actually. We got to learn more about the Martian Manhunter OP kit. We have all those dials spoiled. Plus, we have more information and 2 spoilers for the upcoming Fantastic Four Heroclix set. Simeon, tell me a bit about that.
Oh, yeah. They really slipped it in at like the last second. I was not expecting Fantastic Four stuff this soon, but as you may know, Fantastic Four starter set, the 6-figure starter set with potentially, it's going to potentially have like a campaign kind of thing that you can do with it. That is slated for early 2020. I think it was January, but I think it got pushed back to February. And that's all I really know about the date on that. I think it's kind of in flux right now. But we got some new dials. We got Doctor Doom and we got Invisible Woman. To go along with that, we did get it confirmed that there is going to be the Cosmic Clash that's coming out early 2020. But later in the year, they said that they're expanding the cast of characters, and it's going to hit tabletops with a booster brick. So that means 5-figure booster of Fantastic Four, potentially, I'm assuming. I hope. I don't know. And then it says, and soon after that, the search for Galactus. So when I hear this, I assume like Fantastic Four early, and then later in the year, I assume summer, which makes me think summer OP kit, summer organized play event, which would make a great organized play event if Galactus is the grand prize and the boosters are Fantastic Four stuff. That'd be pretty awesome. I'm hoping that's what it is. If it's just, a standard set, also great. Can't wait to see more about it. But what do you think? Would you prefer organized play kit? I just feel like we haven't had a grand prize like Galactus in a while, and I really want that.
I don't think I've been excited for a grand prize since the Quinjet, probably. In a OP I'd never played in, but once I saw it, I was like, man, I kind of want to drive 3 hours every week or every month just to play in that, because I thought the Quinjet looked amazing. So I really hope we get I really hope this Galactus is a grand prize and not just some convention exclusive where it's like, hey, you showed up, give us money, and you can have him. It's like, well, that doesn't feel as fun, to be real with you guys. So yeah, no, I really hope he is a OP kit thing. It's going to call back to the Avengers set, the first carded set and stuff like that. That'll be really cool. Hey,
WizKids, if you're listening, we know you are. This is your favorite podcast. Throw up some posters for Galactus
please.
again.
Yeah.
Let's get some more, some of the check boxes so you can tell how much of the set you have. Let's get some of the big scary posters that say like coming soon. I don't remember what they all showed, but man, did those garner attention and get people steaming about stuff. Just today we only had 3 people show up to today's casual event, but we had a bunch of the people in the store that were just walking around looking at stuff, stopping and looking at what we were doing. And if I had a big poster to show them and be like, hey, you know what that is? And they were like, yeah, that's Galactus. And I was like, oh yeah, he's coming. You wait. And they'd be like, well, I better listen to New Clicks on the Block and get ready to play because I want that Galactus.
That's right. Better pick up your Fantastic Four starter set and figure out how to play this game so you can win that Galactus, man. But yeah, absolutely. I want something to get people excited in the game. Even if it's Galactus's big old boot or something. I don't care what it is. Let's have some cool media for it. Let's do it. All right, you want to go ahead. Let's try to keep it relatively quick on the previews this week since there are a lot of them, or at least enough of them. You can go ahead and do Dr. Doom, and we'll try not to spend more than 2-3 minutes on a figure if we can help it.
All right. I'm going to talk real fast then. Dr. Doom. He's got keywords Cabal, Latveria, Armor, Cosmic, Mystical. Can't read that one. Ruler and Scientist. Oh, Politician. Politician, Ruler, and Scientist. Real name, Victor Von Doom. He's got the scar face. Really cool sculpt. His classic armor, big ol' energy effect on his fist. He's got a trait. Only Doom is fit to rule. He's got leadership, but instead he removes the action token from himself. How cool. On a 5-6, he removes an action token from himself. When Dr. Doom uses it and succeeds, until your next turn, he can see through hindering. He has protected mind control and outwit. Other powers and abilities can't remove action tokens from Dr. Doom is a separate part of the trait. So you're not leadershiping off of Doom. You're not taking action tokens off in another way, but there are ways to boost your leadership, so I think this guy's pretty sweet for that trait alone. He's got a special attack power, Photon Array. Gives him energy explosion. When Dr. Doom hits with a ranged attack after resolutions, give each hit character an action token. If you can't, deal that character 1 penetrating damage. 3 lightning bolts, 7 range, starting with a 12 attack. He's got three starting lines, so if you play him at 300, which is what I'm going to do, Dr. Doom deserves 300 points. He's going to have a 12 attack with this special energy explosion, and it doesn't say if they're damage, it says each hit character. So even if they reduce the energy explosion, they're going to take either an action token or 1 penetrating, so that's pretty cool. He has 3 stop clicks if you play him at 300 points. His stop click is, you have anger, Doom. Stop, toughness. When Dr. Doom is targeted by an attack, you may choose a standard defense power that you haven't chosen this turn. Dr. Doom can use that power for this attack. Oh, you're attacking me? Guess what? I have Mastermind. And now my Doombot is destroyed. Oh, you're attacking me again? Guess what? I've got combat reflexes. And now I've got a 21 defense. Oh, you're shooting at me now? I've got Energy Shield and a 21 defense. This is click 2 that he's got the stop click on. And then it's click 2 no matter which starting line. So if you start him at 200 points, it'll be on his second click. If you start him at 100 points, his second click. And he's got prob control on each one of these. So that Energy Shield combat reflex is going to be big. Picking Invincible, Mastermind, Super Senses, you know the drill, all the powers. He's got 1 special damage power. Few men as subtle as Dr. Doom. So subtle, this giant green cape wearing man with huge energy effect. So subtle. He's got Outwit, free. Choose an opposing character of lower points within 4 squares and line of fire, and a power, standard or special, they can use. The chosen character can't use that power until your next turn. So, he's got Outwit, and then he's got free. Choose an opposing character within 4 squares and line of fire. They can't use that power. That's like double Outwit. But it's not Outwit, so things that are protected Outwit aren't protected from that. That's pretty gnarly. 7 range, 3 targets, Indom, Flight.
Because why wouldn't he?
Symbol. You know, he's very Doomish. One last thing, he's got a new Doom team ability, Minions of Doom. This is not the old Doom Minions of Doom team ability. When this character KOs a standard opposing character after resolutions, heal 1 click on a friendly character using this team ability. That means this Doom can heal up. He
can heal off those stop clicks. What a nice guy.
That 19 defense, 18 defense, 17 defense, those really cool stop clicks. He goes from that special attack power to Pulse Wave on clicks 2 and 3. He gets some Outwit, but you really want that special Outwit one. He goes back to that special power on each of his starting lines. On 200 points, instead of going to Pulse Wave, he goes to Pen Psi with Sidestep. He starts with Running Shot. He's got it for most of his dial. His last 2 clicks are phasing, so he can run away and regen, which is what he's got his last 2 clicks. Really stellar piece. Really good way to make a 300 point piece viable against a team of, I don't know, maybe 4 that are fantastic. I don't know what he would play against.
Why did you say it like that? Ugh. Jeez, what in the world? You all right? You having a stroke or something? Ugh.
I don't know.
Huh. Weird. What a weird guy.
That's just the way I word sentences sometimes.
I think this Doom is awesome. I think he's really cool. The Return of Doom, the Tomb of Doom. I'm very glad. This is a very fitting way to have him return. I'm not as excited about it as everybody else is. I'm sure I could definitely be more hyped. But this is a really awesome Dr. Doom. I love the flavor text and all his powers. His facing teleport, the door, like a peasant, is so good. It's so good. Like the arrogance, how full of himself is, like, of Dr. Doom.
That's so Doom.
It's awesome. I love everything about this Dr. Doom. I think he's a beast, a powerhouse, everything people wanted a brand new Dr. Doom to be, and I hope everybody's really happy with this. It seems WizKids was really going all out when they were bringing the Fantastic Four back, so he's pretty sweet. Next up is good old Susan Storm. Hoo boy. What isn't there to say? She comes in at 175, 100 or 75. Fantastic 14 ability, 5 range, 2 bolts. Flight being her only special combat symbol. She has Fantastic 4 Lady Liberators, Celebrity and Scientist. She has improved targeting, ignores hindering terrain. She has one trait, Hide and Seek. Free, choose one. Until your next turn, opposing characters can't target Invisible Woman unless they began their turn within 3 squares of her, or terrain markers are considered clear for line of fire this turn if Invisible Woman is within 4 squares of them. Kind of helps your team out, which is really cool. I like she can be very protective for herself, or she can help the rest of her team. Very cool. I like it a lot. Her defense power that she has on her first click, her last click, and then on click 3 and 4, which is also her first 2 clicks of her 75-point line, is you'd be surprised what lengths I can go when pushed. Barrier and toughness. Barrier, toughness, willpower, When Invisible Woman uses barrier, after resolutions, you may knock back 2 squares any number of opposing characters adjacent to these markers. She's making a big old force field barrier. That's really cool. I think that's like a really neat, effective way to use barrier. It's excellently paired with her top dial sidestep. It works a lot, and I really enjoy it. She has a special damage power on her very last click, which is Johnny, stay with me. It's a stop click, but only if another friendly character with the Fantastic 4 keyword is on the map, and then it also gives her shape change. So top dial, like I said, she has sidestep, she has telekinesis, then she has support for her first 3 clicks, and then within, getting that special defense power to normal defense powers, she has defend. She has a 19 defense top dial for her first 2 clicks, and then on her last click, her defense is an 18 everywhere else, which is pretty insane. And then on her last 4 clicks, she has shape change the whole time, force blast on her last 3, in cap in the middle of the dial. Wow, she is an insanely cool support piece that doesn't do the regular, perplex, prob, outwit sort of style support powers. It's actual support, it's telekinesis, it's barrier, and it's really refreshing.
Seeing through stuff. Yeah.
Seeing through stuff. What a gal, this Sue Storm. And she's a really good taxi, which is fantastic. I assume her and Johnny are going to be the taxis for the Thing and Mr. Fantastic, unless we somehow get a Fantastic car, which would be cool. Hint, hint. Just saying.
I didn't even think about that.
Fantastic car would be pretty dope. Maybe that would be
Herbie bystander? What?
Yeah, that too. The only bad thing is the Fantastic Four team ability isn't different. It's the same thing. When this character is KO'd after resolutions, each other friendly character using this team ability heals a click, which is cool. That's great and all, but she's kind of meant to, not die. She's got a whole stop click and everything to kind of help, they're not easy to KO. I assume all of them, or at least a couple of them, have this whole last click, stop click thing. I just wish a new team ability. I was kind of bummed that Doom got
so
to
as
work.
The Fantastic Four is slowly picked off, Doom will heal, but also the remaining members of Fantastic Four will also heal.
Yes.
So that's nice. I think it's a great job for the best Green Lantern that we have.
Best Green Lantern, huh?
Yeah, I don't know if you knew that about Sue Storm, but she's the best version of Green Lantern.
Those are just see-through constructs that aren't green. Yeah, no, I get
it.
Yeah.
I still don't think we've gotten a Jonathan Hickman version of Sue Storm where she's bisecting submarines underwater and making perpetual motion machines out of her force constructs and fighting Celestials. But a 19 defense defend? What?
That's pretty gnarly.
For 100 points, that's crazy. I mean, just in casual, that's gonna be rough when you're
it's a little nuts.
Yeah, I've got all these guys with combat reflexes and energy shield, so come at me with that 21 defense that I have all around because Sue Storm is there. That's pretty sweet. Even at 75 points, super solid figure.
Absolutely.
75 points with a stop click and all that other stuff. Yeah, just nutso. All right, moving on to the DC side of things.
Ooh, DC. So we got a new Martian Manhunter OP kit. We got to see the really cool new sculpt of Martian Manhunter. We got to see the Rebirth Reuse sculpt. This isn't Rebirth. This is, Trinity War Batman sculpt. Yeah, I think it's Trinity War. And then the Trinity War Despero sculpt. So I'll go ahead. I'm going to be talking about 2 of the figures. So we'll start off with the main man himself, Martian Manhunter. I want to say before I get into this, there's a lot of controversy surrounding Martian Manhunter. Sort of, not really. I absolutely love him, and y'all need to quit. You're whining. So let's get right into it.
I'm going to do some whining when you're done.
Oh, I know you are. But I love it because he's beautifully comic accurate. People are like, oh, you really... I'm going to read it, and then I'll go into making fun of our listeners and other people, and then I'll talk about why I love this Martian Manhunter and why you guys need to chill out a little bit. He has one trait. He has Flight 7 range, no Indom, which is what he should have. Aha! Anyways, he has Justice League, trademark, Justice League International, and Detective. He ignores characters and destroys blocking when he moves through it. His trait reads, Enraged Chaco's Hunt. At the beginning of the game, generate 5 light objects named Chaco that an opponent places anywhere on the map at least 5 squares away from each other. At the beginning of your turn, if a Chaco object is on the map, deal Martian Manhunter 1 unavoidable damage, and until your next turn, he can use Battle Fury and modifies his combat values +1. When he picks up a Chaco object or hits an opposing character holding a Chaco object, after resolutions, remove that object from the game and heal him 2 clicks. Opposing characters have power if there are no Chaco objects on the map or held. Generate a light object named Chaco. All right, no, you don't get to speak yet. We have to look at his dial. All right, we have to look at his dial. We have to see why taking 1 unavoidable every single turn until we get rid of these Chacos is not terrible.
Well, 2
one bad
if you're
thing.
Going actions back to back.
That's true.
Because no Indom.
He's hungry, Simeon. He doesn't have Indom. Are you showing a lot of willpower when you're munching on chocolate cookies? No, I don't think so.
Bursting through walls because I forgot how to phase because I'm so angry.
He's angry. This is a beautiful reference to the comic Justice League International, where Booster Gold and Blue Beetle play this prank on him, and he like destroys a city, where it's like Coast City or Metropolis or whatever. It's awesome. His dial is 9 clicks long. It's beautifully sectioned into these little 3-click by 3-click sections. So he has 9 speed with hypersonic speed, 10 attack with precision strike, 17 defense with invincible, and 3 damage with shape change for his first 3 clicks. Then he goes with 8 with charge, 11 with super strength, 17 with impervious. Then he goes up to a 4 damage with nothing in his middle 3 clicks. His last 3 clicks, he goes into 7 with sidestep, 10 attack with nothing, 17 defense with toughness, and a 3 damage with close combat expert. I wish, number one, think about all these combat values, but think of them with normally 9 times out of 10. 90% of the time, he'll have a +1 to all his combat values. I wish he had an 18 defense instead of a 17 all the way through, because if he's going to be already taking so much free damage, he should be a little bit more difficult to hit than he is. He can get 1 or 2 turned very easily thanks to his Chaco craving. But besides that, let's look at this not as a Martian Manhunter that you want to just be a generic blah 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 Martian Manhunter because we haven't got a Martian Manhunter in so long. No, come on, have some fun with it. This is a beautifully unique and cool Martian Manhunter with a really awesome idea. There are all sorts of characters that have to find things on the map, like Collector or whatever, and I love that we get a not-so-serious version of John Jones. We get a fun Martian Manhunter who just wants to eat some chocolate chip cookies. Saying that, is he great? No, I wouldn't go that far, since he doesn't get to use the most out of his 7 range or hypersonic speed top dial with getting Battle Fury most of the time, but I think he is really fun and casual, and if you want to play a really fun comic accurate Justice League International or Justice League team, this is a great Martian Manhunter, and I want to have him just to play him a few times because it's such a beautiful and fun and really unique and cool ability that I just want to try it out. Now let the complaining commence.
All right. I'm not going to complain too much because I agree with you. The sculpt on this guy is beautiful. We haven't had Martian Manhunter in a long time. There's a few ways around this damage every turn. You can pop him in a vehicle. Congratulations, you've paid 150 points for Martian Manhunter in a dune buggy. But he's not going to take unavoidable damage if you do that. I actually do like the unavoidable damage. I wish they gave him a click 0 like we've seen with some Marvel stuff, because he will never be on click 1. Once it's your first turn, he's on click 2. There's no way to destroy 5 objects in a single turn, so there's no way that he's never starting like on click 2. He's just always on click 2. I wish click 1 would have just been like in like a blank dial, because you just won't be there.
Yeah.
He can heal up to it, I suppose. That's the one saving grace he really has. Negating the fact that he's 120 points, has a 17 defense with no indom. And I'm like, did you listen to any of that Marvel stuff that we just talked about with those crazy cool stats and powers for way less points? Or like, I mean, Doom was more points, but even the 100-point version of Doom would probably tear this guy apart because he's not protected outwit, not protected anything, no indom.
Hey, quit saying the no indom. He's hungry, all right? He wants chocolate sandwich cookies. He's not gonna. He's not gonna have willpower.
The worst part about this guy is I can wait in my starting area for him to die. I can, because you can power action continue to make these. One thing I would have loved to see is if they gave him a stock click that said, when this power is revealed, heal him X amount of clicks, where X is equal to the number of Choco cookies still on the board, and then destroy those Choco cookies, or maybe not destroy,
kind of neat.
Just something that's like, you know, so your opponent has a reason to get rid of them as well, potentially. I really do like the fact that he can heal 2 from picking one up or hitting an opponent that has one. That's pretty cool. I am absolutely going to get one of these guys so that I can play it. I don't care if I lose horribly. And then my last point is the minimum damage that he's going to do his entire dial, unless you're like some crazy kooky plan where you're going to destroy all these cookies somehow. The minimum damage he's going to do is 4. On clicks 4 through 6, he has a potential of doing 7 just by picking up a heavy object. On 7 through 9, he's got a potential of doing 6 damage because he's got close combat expert and +1 stats most likely. So he is a powerhouse. He's just a very finesse piece that is not gonna auto win you any games. He's gonna be very hard to keep alive, because I could see turn 1 you move him up, he's already on click 2 because you took an unavoidable. Maybe you pick up an object and you heal back to click 1. Your opponent outwits your invincible, shoots you for like 4 or 5, and now all of a sudden you have like toughness and you're gonna keep taking the unavoidable. Once he gets off that hypersonic and he can't pick up objects and heal, it's gonna be rough. The fact that your opponent gets to place all of them is also rough. But honestly, I still do like it. I think once people play it, I think that they'll enjoy it. I think we were just hoping for a lot more when we saw the 120 point value.
I think if you took about 20 points off this guy, he's 100% A-okay, to be real with you.
Yeah. I think if he took 70 points off, he'd be meta. And I'm not even joking. I think for 50 points, he would have absolutely worth playing. But what isn't? Let's talk about what isn't. Despero.
Oof.
Real name, Despero.
So new every day.
He's got Injustice League, Cosmic, Mystical, and Ruler. He's the big cyclopic monster. I don't know. He's pink. He's got a mohawk. He's like a dinosaur thing. He's pretty cool. He's got one special power, and that's it. Enjoy the tragic memories, Martian. So a little shade thrown at John Jones.
Ooh.
Mind control with 3 targets. When Despero uses it, after resolutions, deal 1 penetrating damage to each character he hit. I really, really like that. I wish that it came with like a sidestep or a running shot. You could always equip him with something to do that. But he starts off at 150 points. He's got that special speed power for his first 4 clicks. He can also be played at 110 points, where he's got that speed power for 2 clicks, 3 and 4. He also has Quake for his first 4 clicks, so you can either mind control or Quake him, the Kalonorian destruction. He goes from invincible on clicks 1 and 2 with shape change to invuln on clicks 3, 4, and 5, 6. And then eventually he gets regen on his last 2 clicks. He goes from 3 damage to 2. He's got a mid-dial of no Quake, but he gets Pensai with running shot finally. And he goes from 4 damage down to 3, clicks 5, 6, 7, 8. His attack kind of suffers, but I do really like this top dial mind control. So I'm looking at playing him at 110 with the Goblin Glider for running shot, triple target mind control, and 1 penetrating damage. I really like this because Colossal Retaliation sucks. And if you can hit a couple Colossals, punch another couple Colossals, and then the Colossals that you mind controlled just poof, because they all take 1 penetrating. There's not a single Colossal Retaliator that has something that can reduce penetrating. So that's pretty cool. Definitely not going to be meta, but I mean, it's Despero. He's cool. It's going to be a fun piece. This whole thing is about having a fun piece, I think.
I agree.
Other than that, what is the Injustice League team ability? I didn't even think to look that up.
I believe that is the same as Brotherhood of Mutants, where if they roll a 10 or higher, they remove an action token.
Okay, so, I mean, he's got like a little bit of potential clearing power there.
Yeah.
On the face of him, he's a fun piece, but he's not going to be... He's not even really worth the 150 points that you could play him at.
I wouldn't think so, no.
No. If John Jones isn't worth 120, this guy's definitely not worth 150. An outwit will sink him quick. The fact that he doesn't have a movement attack until over the middle of his dial, click 5, is when he first gets a movement attack. Yeah, it's going to be rough going. And his defense values are not great. His attack values drop to a 9. That's pretty much all there is.
Right on. Finishing us off is another Batman. Wow, that's really cool. We don't get Batman.
Bruce Wayne?
Much. Yeah, that'd be Bruce Wayne. No one else is Batman.
Version.
That's a lot of people's favorite version right here. But this is actually kind of a really specific and unique version of Batman that I quite like. It is the haunting panel that all those nerdy Batman fans say to me every time I say my favorite Green Lantern is Guy Gardner. So let's go ahead and jump right into this
One
Batman.
punch, Guy Gardner. Did you get it, Calder?
Yeah,
because he knocked Guy Gardner out in one punch.
Out with one punch.
Did you get it?
Wow. I've never heard that before. Oh my gosh.
Guy Gardner got oh man.
He clearly
my favorite
can't
comic.
be a good Green Lantern. At 65 points, Batman has 6 range. Indom is his only special combat symbol. He has the JLA and Batman allied team ability. He has no traits. He has 2 special powers that he starts with. He has Sidestep for his first 3 clicks, Plasticity for his last 3, a special attack power for his first 4, and then Pulse Wave on his last 2. And then he goes ahead and he gets a special damage power on his first 3, Perplex on his last 3, Mastermind for his first 3 clicks, and then Toughness on his last 3 clicks. Very interesting and top dial Mastermind Batman. I think that's really cool. His special attack power that he has for his first 4 is One Punch. See, this is that thing, you know. Power, make a close attack. If the attack hits, after resolutions, give the hit character 2 action tokens. And until your next turn, that character can't be given any free actions, effectively, like totally 100%, knocking someone out. It is a power action, which makes sense. Batman took it from an unprepared Guy Gardner to a full, good twist through the hips into it. Boom, punch. The sidestep helps him get around to getting his little one punch off. His damage power is We Do It My Way or No Way, and it's leadership. When Batman uses it and succeeds this turn, whenever a friendly character with the Justice League or Justice League International keyword hits all targets with an attack, after resolutions, you may roll a d6 on a 3/6, remove an action token from that character, which is a really, really cool leadership. I wish that other part worked, even if he didn't succeed, but I guess it makes sense. If Batman is being a good leader, then everybody else will do a little bit better. And I just like the idea of...
That's busted when it rolls off, because that's
awesome.
Over a 50-50 chance, so that's...
Over. Yeah.
I mean, I say busted. It's not busted, but it's really good.
Real good. And then the couple of his powers are also kind of referencing the one punch specifically to Guy Gardner, like his pulse wave is cover your eyes. Yes, you too, Gardner. And then his toughness is, are you threatening a fellow member? Gardner, stuff like that. So it makes it really cool. So I need this Batman for his clear references to Guy Gardner, which I think is really neat. And once again, whether or not this is a good Batman or whatever, it's a very specific comic accurate version of Batman, which I think is really fun. Even though this wasn't obviously the costume he had in the 90s where this took place.
No.
This is the New 52 Trinity War sort of looking weird costume. Either way, a sculpt swap or whatever is fine, and I just think this is a really fun Batman. Honestly, I think it's cool, and I'm glad they made it.
I really like this Batman. I like the fact that he's 65 points, which is almost half Martian Manhunters, and he has Indom. That's really cool. Being
weird.
half points and having a power that Martian Manhunter doesn't have.
He's hungry for the
really,
cookies,
really
Simeon.
Neat. I really like that I can sculpt swap him with Saitama if we ever get one, and then I'll have One Punch. My favorite. What'd you say? You said do it again and do the whole song.
Please don't. No.
Do the dance with it.
We need like an earbud check. That freaks me out.
Oh yeah. My bad. No, that's
never be sorry for your art, Simeon. For your beautiful
just the fact that the memes of this whole between the cookies and the One Punch Man references. I think this is probably the best DC kit that we've gotten in a while.
It's hard to beat, really. I'm gonna be real. Yeah. Whether or not you like these figures or not, it's kind of hard to beat with how funny it is, how clever it is.
Yeah, Despero being the standout of his flavor text isn't that great.
Yeah,
but
that is kind of a bummer.
The other two, the flavor text is on point.
On point.
So.
Absolutely. And that will do it for news this week. I'm going to go ahead and move into our Patreon ranking up ceremony, which normally happens the second week of every month, but I'm going to be real with you guys. Kind of forgot about it. December was a really busy month, especially last weekend for me. So excuse me for missing out on that. We have two people ranking up this month. Loyal Miller is going to go from a protagonist to a superhero/villain. If you want to go ahead and get a hold of us, we can go ahead and get your title changed over. And then Taylor Ward is going to go from a vigilante to a protagonist. Thank you guys so much for supporting the show. This is a good time for me to go ahead and go into a few new things that we published on our Patreon. I want to start getting more people in the Discord so we can start doing Bad Samaritan every week. We only have about 4 or 5 people in the Discord besides me and Simeon, and I think it'd be quite fun to start doing Bad Samaritan on there. I think a lot of people would enjoy that. I've also upgraded all the tiers, which is really cool. So if you do $3 or more a month, you will get a Dial H sticker. So I'll be getting a lot of people's addresses this month and making that out to them. $5 or more a month will get you a action token, and these will also always get you into the Discord server and our giveaways every month. So at $5 a month, you'll get 1 Dial H action token. At $7 a month, you'll get both a sticker and an action token every single month. But at $10 a month, you'll get a sticker and you'll get 3 action tokens every month. So you can really start making stacks on stacks on stacks. We have a few different sticker designs. We, of course, have Howdy Howdy Let's Get Rowdy, which needs to be updated with the new logo. We have the current logo sticker. We have the Heroclix. We're on it. I printed out a few of those for anyone that wants them. And then we also have the old classic logo if there's any interest in that. I'm going to try to make more sticker designs because they're quite fun to do. And I'll also be taking anybody else's suggestions. But seriously, thank you guys so much to all of those that support us. And we can go ahead and move on into community.
There are dozens of us. Dozens!
Ooh, Simeon, are you ready for the Community Tuesdays question this week?
Oh, yeah.
Hey,
this is actually something I'm really interested in, really near and dear to my heart. The Community Tuesday question was, what is your favorite clix effect or FX? So, if you don't know, a clix effect is something that's on the sculpt. It's lightning, it's flight, it's fire, it's brimstone, it's laser beams, it's something like that. A clix FX is something that is separate from the sculpt that WizKids popped out in Joker's Wild, Superior Foes of Spider-Man. I think those were the only 2 sets that we really got them in.
Yes.
And we're going to go ahead and throw in the 3D bystanders that they occasionally do as well. Carasel's Pack, Red Wolf's Lobo, Lobo's dog, all those things. Things that can pop off the base, things that have a 3D printed representation of them.
Mm-hmm.
So, my favorite clix effect, I really like the Speed Force kind of things that Flashes have. I really like the lightning effects that Thors have. And I think my favorite of all time is the old Human Torch that had the Nova Blast bubble that encased his sculpt.
That was cool.
I really love that effect. But when it comes to FX, I think that my top one is actually a figure that isn't that good, but it's the Mudman from Joker's Wild, or Clayface, not Mudman.
Yeah.
That had the Mud Marker. And the Mud Marker was actually kind of a terrible thing to happen to you if you were facing against it. Especially if you had like a close combat piece and it tied you down for the entire game. But the Mud Marker was just this kind of like brown glob that you would sit under your character and you just have to stare at it turn after turn until you finally got away from it. And occasionally that just never happened because you didn't build your team correctly. And you went home and you got on Cool Stuff Inc. and you bought that Mudman, or that Clayface, to get that Mud Marker because you thought to yourself, I'm going to do this to my opponent next time because it hurt me so much this time.
What an oddly specific scenario you laid in front of us. Thank you, Simeon. Very
I just
cool.
assumed that's how people felt about it.
Not that you specifically
No.
would, obviously. No.
I've never played Joker's Wild. Is that a set?
What even is that, though?
I don't know.
The Joker. I mean, of course the Joker is wild. Don't you play crazy eights? I don't know. Cards.
Slap
Bridge.
Jack. That's what I play.
Spades. The Joker used in spades? I don't remember, to be honest. My favorite clix effect, kind of like shout out to the Thors, all you Thors out there. More specifically, I really like the hammer spin effect that a lot of Thors have, and also like that was a nunchuck effect for one Michelangelo. I thought that was really cool. And then I really like because the AVX Captain America, the animated, whatever you call it, the CG render sculpt, had bullets bouncing off the shield, but the physical one didn't, and it made me really happy when the Avengers Black Panther one had the bullets ricocheting off the sculpt with the little flashes and stuff. So I really enjoy that effect.
For a rare.
It's a really small, for a rare it was really cool, and it's just a really small effect that adds that little extra bit to it, which I always enjoyed. With that, I really liked Falcon's Red Wing. It was really hard to get to balance. Like Falcon's Red Wing and Squirrel Girl's Tippy Toe are really cool squirrel, like kind of bystander pop-offs that I really enjoy, and I think those are quite fun. In FX, though, I liked Hydro-Man's Wave. It had a little bit of blue, kind of like how the waves were white, really, really going, real heavy. And then I liked the fire effect, just because, like, hey, you're on fire, so you're on fire, Like, the slash is not so much like a bleeding thing as much as it is like an action that would be like in a video game after Wolverine tries to cut at someone. But the fire effect is like, yeah, I'm on fire. Someone hit me with fire. Kind of sucks. So I always really enjoyed the fire effect and stuff. I think that's quite fun. Going first, Simeon.
Or she could spread the fire.
Away. Oh, right.
Oh, yeah, I'll jump in on.
Yeah, if it stayed on, how great would that be? That'd be awesome.
If it was like you're adjacent to a character and at the end of your turn you haven't like moved away from adjacency, they collect the fire.
That would be freaking cool. Oh my gosh. All
just thinking of like D&D encounters where I've accidentally spread flame through my quote-unquote accidentally. On Facebook, Tristan Campos says, I love bringing out bystanders and all clix FX are nice. A personal favorite clix FX, Firefly from Joker's Wild. There's some fire you were talking about. He will bug ya. Haha. Get it?
What a guy.
Firefly.
Get it? Because he's a firefly. Supervillain slash superhero. Loyal Miller said, I don't know if we can count Dog from Lobo, so I'll say Storm's Cloud and the Web Marker, but if Dog counts, definitely him.
Yeah, I mean, I would want to say bystanders don't count for this, but they are really cool. So, I mean, if you were going to say like John Constantine, like Bunny, or like the dog, or like Lobo's Red Wolf. Like those are all really cool things that are 3D sculpts that pop off, and I'm always happy for a 3D rendering of any kind of effect, even if it is a bystander. Citizen Peter Marshfield says, favorite clix FX has to be the web markers. For all the times we've had a Spider-Man that webs people, it's nice to actually have a visual of the effect on the board. If I could request one, I'd ask for bat marker, because it would be awesome to get a swarm of bats that block the line of fire when Batman fights. So kind of like something that like surrounds Batman. My favorite new effect is the team-wide specific traits, something that goes beyond a team ability, like the Serpent Society Sneak Attack, or the Thunderbolts Justice Like Lightning. That'd be cool. Thunderbolts getting like a lightning effect for their Justice Like Lightning, or like the Quicksilver speed shadow effect. That was pretty cool too.
Right on. Vigilante Jedi Legend said clix effects all the way. They're good for some pieces that don't have one, and should. My favorite is Spidey's web, because it looks good and is in theme.
I really do like the spider webs. I just wish they had done more than what they did.
Yeah.
Or if they stacked, if you could put like, because there's comics and cartoons and movies and stuff where Spider-Man just like hits one dude with like web, yeah, like thwip, yeah, and the dude's just covered in web. And if you could have like 3 web markers on one person, and it was like not only like when you have like 3, you can't attack, you can't move. If you try and break away, it's like -2, like all this stuff, and you either have to give like a power action to remove one, or you have to successfully break away, or that'd be really cool. I think they could redo those. Citizen Ronnie Andrew says, Alan Scott's barrier marker. It is very unique and powerful. Yes, it is. Hiding in stealth? Nope. Need to disengage from someone? Done. Need protection, but no clear terrain? Gotcha, bro. To go along with that, oh, you wanted to do leadership next turn? Too bad there's a wall between you two. Green Arrow, he's in clear terrain, so you can't draw a line of fire. Oh, I just blew up that wall that I created, and now he's in hindering. And then I put another wall under him, and now he can't use stealth, so I can shoot him now. Oh, I love that Green Lantern.
He's fun. For 35 points, the utility is crazy there.
Oh yeah, -1 from range?
Yeah.
Or I think it's -1 defense. I don't even know if it's from range. It's just, yeah, he's stacked for 35.
Protagonist Ben Jones says Mysterio's smoke cloud puts him in permanent stealth with probability control. Can always find a use for that.
And that was like the purple smoke cloud too. That was cool.
Yeah.
Tyler Murren says, being a Flash fan, I gotta go with the Speedster one that they gave to Quicksilver and others. Just disappointed the Flash never got one, or even just the trait. And the quick shout out for the light wall marker. Pour one out for JSA Green Lantern, who has not made it into my collection yet.
Ooh.
LOL. Tyler, hit me up. I've got 2 for trade. That Green Lantern is super fun. If you put him on a JSA team, I don't think a JSA team is complete without that Green Lantern, just because of his trait that he shares with them. But I absolutely love that Quicksilver one as well. Have you ever played the Quicksilver one, Calder?
I have not, no.
Okay, so he had like hypersonic, and any square he moved through, he could leave this speed shadow marker, and then he could make an attack through the speed shadow markers from anywhere on the board. So you could hypersonic, really cool. Leave one next to somebody, next turn hypersonic away, and like you could be like 12 squares away and hit him through it. And I want to say, I really want to say that he had flurry when he did it.
Ooh.
He could use like flurry with his hypersonic. So yeah, he was all kinds of nasty.
Right on. On Twitter, Vigilante Collectible said, I love clix effects in general, but I especially like the yellow ones that came in the FX pack. I use these to mark perplex. I normally don't mark my perplex, but I was really curious. I did not know, because I never bought an FX pack. I don't think I really totally needed one, but interesting. I didn't know about the yellow ones that came in it or what they were necessarily used for, and I don't really remember yellow being one that I've ever seen in a booster before either, so I think that's kind of interesting.
Yeah, I'm going to say I don't think, to my knowledge, there wasn't a yellow FX, but I do know what the FX pack that he's talking about. I don't think there was a figure that came with just like a yellow one. I don't know. James, last but not least on Facebook, James Craddock says, as a substitute, the slash markers are great for wounded tokens for Wendigo. For a direct connection, I like the Bamf Cloud for rare Nightcrawler from UXM. I really do like that Nightcrawler as well, and I hadn't thought about using slash markers for Wendigo, but hey, there's a reason to actually use the effect that I got from Ares and, what's that, Morlun? The Spider-Man
the vampire
one.
guy, yeah.
The two figures that I've never actually played effectively, I can now actually use their slash effects for something.
Right on. Ronnie on Twitter goes to say, Thunderbolt's Speed Demons after image marker is amazing to use. Oh, I'm here now. Now I'm gone. Combined with Songbird from Thunderbolts for Slingshot or Incap. Man, the Thunderbolts in general. What's not to love? And he has a really funny gif of Spider-Man jumping around, dodging Electro's lightning, which I quite enjoy. And that's going to be the last one I'm going to read on Twitter since we're going a little long this episode.
We're moving on to Bonsai's Discord question.
Right, that is right.
Banzia Tree.
Here we go. So, Superfan, sorry, excuse me. That was like way wrong, and I apologize for that. This is me killing time. Vigilante, Banzia Tree and Sapling, went ahead and sent us on Discord a really cool question, which I quite enjoyed. So something came to mind over in Community Tuesdays. What are some of your favorite multiversal crossover team-ups, characters, combos, or teams? Non-theme, generic theme, or rare cross-universal named theme team? Simeon, give us your favorite non-theme kind of Marvel DC mix-mash team-up characters.
My favorite non-themed, man. I was gonna say non-named theme, which I guess would be generic theme. Is police.
I was thinking no theme, no theme at all.
Oh, no theme at all.
A few figures that are just gotta put them together, no theme at all, because they're fun.
For no theme at all, I'm gonna get a little meta heavy, but that Green Lantern from Joker's Wild, I really used to love putting those guys with the Tri-Sentinels. Being able to drop a free barrier or a free wall and destroy it and do a ping damage, that was real cool.
Thanks,
not having to roll for attacks. Why even roll for attacks in this game that's based on chance? I don't like it. You don't like it. Why do it?
Sounds lame to me.
Let's just pop people for 1 damage at a time. That's what Poison's for. I really like using the Red Sun Brainiac on Hulk. It sounds weird, but occasionally we'll get a Hulk that's got a range value, and getting a mid-dial pulse wave is crazy fun when you have, especially because his range values usually, if he has one, it's usually 1 or 2. So pulse wave makes it 1 always. So that's always fun.
Right on.
But really, there's no rhyme or reason to when I mix DC and Marvel.
Normally there isn't. Yeah. It's just what do you mean? That's just 300 modern.
Yeah, what stuff has weird traits that work with other weird traits?
That's really all it is. My favorite cross universal team is Hellspawn, Blind Owl, and Krampus. I just love it. It's so fun. Use Blind Owl to get Hellspawn on his whole switch places with me, and then Krampus can go ahead and capture a kid. I find it hilarious. They're all from a different universe, and it's a pretty fun little team that all works together. That's probably my favorite really weird team up. Go into your favorite kind of generic keywords that you're always mix and matching, Simeon.
So this would be Speedsters. Speedsters is a cross-universe keyword. Police is a cross-universe keyword. I really like Speedsters. They don't give you a ton of support powers. Most of the time they're a little bit squishy, but using some quicksilvers with some flashes, some speed demons with like zoom, stuff like that. Always really fun. And then ruler. I really like using some of the DC rulers are real big powerhouses, and some of the Marvel ones are cheaper. So you can actually use the DC ones as like your tent pole, and then the Marvel rulers as like your backup, like support kind of pieces. Maybe your Marvel ones are like 35 points and have leadership, and you can take tokens off of your 235 point Hades from Superman, Wonder Woman, and then he can shoot somebody for a lot of damage because he's crazy.
Right on. Probably my two favorite generic keywords that I cross-universe a lot are soldier and politician. There is a lot of good Marvel and DC soldiers, as well as a handful of good random universe soldiers. Normally when I make a soldier-themed team, it's super kind of casual and generic. I like an Uncle Sam, a Captain America, Liberty Bell, good old Guile, or Guile, however you say it, from Street Fighter, a Statesman and Colonel Stars and Stripes, maybe even mix in a little Detroit Steel, you never know. I quite like the patriotic theme that we can get going with soldiers.
I think it's pronounced Sonic Boom.
So that's, sure, we'll go with that. Absolutely.
That's what he does.
Yeah, I know, but like that's not his name.
Cool haircut.
It's his cool haircut. I don't know. I don't know
Isn't
about
he like
cool.
a Pokemon?
Yeah,
he's like a Pokemon. He just says his name.
He says his name over and over. Sonic Boom, Sonic Boom, Sonic Boom. Yeah. I also really
he was when I played him.
Jeez. I also really enjoy politician theme team. It's a very underutilized, almost never used keyword, and I always have fun with it. My favorite is a president team with Prez Ricard, Lex Luthor, Green Goblin, the Earth X president, number 1, which is sort of not really Richard Nixon, but kind of super hinted at that it is, and of course Zombie or Ghost Abraham Lincoln, and then the Atom with George Washington, since one of the other George Washingtons doesn't have the president or the politician keyword, and he's also really, really bad. So I enjoy soldier and politician as like my main cross-universe style theme teams.
You can get WWE stuff in there now, too.
You can now, which is really cool, but none of them are like actual like presidents of the United States in fiction and or reality.
No, so Kane's the closest, and he's like half mayor.
A mayor of some town in like Kentucky or whatever, which is actually kind of cool. So I might actually add him and throw him on the team, too, because that is really fun. So the super rare named theme team, this is all I could think of. It's Ravagers, Outlaws, and Authority, I believe, are the only named keywords that are cross-universe. Is that right, or I might be wrong?
You are wrong.
Wrong. What'd I miss?
Atlantis.
Oh, that's right. That is a name.
Atlantis is my favorite named keyword. Yeah, it's my favorite named keyword that actually crosses two universes. So for Marvel, you've got, Namor, and that's about it. But you've got like Namor Giganto, you've got regular Giganto, you've got anything that's like based in like the swimmy kind of section of Marvel. Really
kind of section of Marvel. Really, this is why we have you on the show, is just your excellent commentary. Keep going. Oh my gosh.
I've read lots of comics, Calder. I'll have you know. The Fantastic Four swimmy section was a great run. But no, in DC, you've got Dolphin. You've got, of course, like Aquaman, Mara. You've got all that kind of stuff. So you can combine that. I really love throwing a couple dolphins, a couple mermaids and stuff on a team, and then having that new Namor chase with the
mirror thing?
Gosh.
That one?
Yeah.
When he's sitting on the throne.
Siege Courageous is what it's called. The Siege Courageous, the one, it's like a teleporter. So he can carry like an X amount of figures. So I have him carry up my dolphins and my mermaids and stuff. And then you have Lori Lamaris that makes mermaids explode. That's real fun. So, yeah.
I think that's hilarious, to be honest with you. Mermaid bombs. I think it's great. Why haven't we had this before? We've had it quite a long time ago, but I enjoyed it a lot. The way I like to mix theme, I've never actually played a Ravagers, Outlaws, or Authority theme team, but the way I like to mix universes and keep theme is with GW Bridge, bringing someone into S.H.I.E.L.D. or Six Pack Normally Shield, normally almost always Shield, but I really like GW Bridge recruiting a member from a different universe, and it always kind of makes for a little bit of fun. So I quite enjoy that. Thank you so much, TMU, Banzia Tree Sapling, for those questions. Really appreciate it. To finish off Community Tuesdays section, we're going to have Jedi Legends Heroclix Tip of the Week.
You don't want to sell me death sticks.
I don't want to sell you death sticks.
You want to go home and rethink your life.
I want to go home and rethink my life.
Awesome. The tip of the week this week is Scrooge knew he was dead. Of course he did. Jacob Marley, a mere 35 points. A flyer with enhanced movement makes a wounding taxi particularly helpful carrying fellow Ghost Realm figures as he disregards their speed symbols. He can only carry Ghost Realm figures, actually, to disregard their speed symbols. But I love this Jacob Marley because when he flies through people, he modifies their attack value, -2 for the turn. I think he is really fun. Besides that, he is also a Snowfall character, which means he is a wild card, which is fantastic. And he's been sitting in my little 3-person Heroclix tray in the dash of my car that I have there that just holds 3 random figures. It's been Jacob Marley, the Toy Soldier, and the Abominable Snowman for the past week. But I absolutely love this Jacob Marley. He is really cool. Ignoring blocking, ignoring characters. And he's just one of the few Christmas-related characters and the only Charles Dickens kind of character we have in Heroclix. And I really quite enjoy that this is the tip of the week. Go out and play a Jacob Marley if you have one. Spooky, scary monster, ghost theme, or just on a fun, random Christmas theme team. Just go for it. I think it's an excellent tip of the week. I find it quite fun.
He's surprisingly hard to take down for his point value. Pretty decent stats, pretty decent powers, and that -2 to attack means like, if he moves his whole movement and ends up next to somebody that he moved through, like they've got to hit an 18 with a -2 to their attack.
Yeah.
And that's pretty rough.
Oh, it is. Oh, it definitely is. And that marks the end of our episode. Thank you so much for tuning in. I know this is a bit of a longer episode this week. And I think if that is all, Simeon, are you ready to read us out of here?
Yes, I am. One last time, I'm going to tell you guys, drive safe out there. I don't care if you're in sunny California or, I don't know what Australia's weather's like. Drive safe. There's been a lot of accidents lately, and it's unnecessary. Slow down. It's 4-wheel drive, not 4-wheel make it safe every time. You gotta put in the effort.
That was so bad.
Thank you, Carl.
Mike wasn't muted. Oh, jeez.
and with that, Dial H for Heroclix is brought to you by CoolStuffInc.com, where you can find cool stuff in stock every day, including all the latest Heroclix singles and sealed products. Check them out at CoolStuffInc.com.
Happy trails.
My stuff.